This is a planting of Seaberry, which we put in 4 years ago. The oldest plants are 4 years old, and they are cross. We found a location near Goldendale, Washington, where we planted Siberian female Seaberries and German males, and they cross-pollinated. We collected the seeds and we planted seedlings. The goal being to find Seaberry plants that are not so big, less thorny, have nice fruit, and grow well in this climate.
Mm-hmm.
The Siberian ones struggle here a little bit because they're used to a cold, dry climate, and that's pretty much the opposite of what we have. So we had a.
So are they the smaller ones then too?
The fruit itself, or the plants?
No, the plant size.
Yeah, the Siberian plants are typically lower growing, less vigorous, less thorny, and even sweeter fruit than the European ones, which the German one, the males were from Germany, from a German breeding program. So we put them out together, and this is the result. And we so the first interesting challenge is with Seaberry that approximately 50% of the plants from seed are males. And our goal is not to collect males, we want females.
Of course.
So about a month and a half ago, I and another guy spent a good part of a week removing male plants from here. And they're big like this, thorny. And we cut them off with big loppers and hauled them out. And that was a bit of work.
Yeah,
you know?
There's a lot there.
Now we have females left, and we've just gone through, and we have two groups of plants, but this first group is the ones that we're evaluating this year, and we left the females, of course, and then they had fruit. So probably 90% of the females are going to go, and they're all marked with yellow tape. They will be removed when we have time, probably early September, and then the remaining ones we will evaluate again next year. And hopefully we will find, I don't know, 3 or 4 that we'll continue on with. I mean, breeding is a numbers game.
Yeah.
You need a lot of stuff to start with.
Absolutely. So what sort of characteristics on the yellow flagged ones have them slated for removal?
Eliminates them. Thorniness, vigor, too big. Those are probably the two. The fruit itself, oftentimes the fruit it's very small. It's small, or maybe the flavor is not particularly good. So they just don't. There's not enough of something positive to allow them to stay for another year.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably can't see, although actually I think one. This guy,
So how many years or generations do you expect to go through before you've got a variety you want to put on the market?
Well, conceivably we could choose something in the next couple of years from this. We actually collected seeds from here, and we are going to plant those again, sort of back crossing, because the interesting thing in this group now is that the males in here have both parentage, the Siberian and the German parentage. So the males are producing pollen that is partially Siberian.
Mm-hmm.
And it's partially German, and so that we're going to plant some seeds from these females, the ones we like, and to see what that looks like. So we'll do another generation. But this one plant on the end here, it has a pink tag, pink flagging tape on it, and so it's selected to stay. And it's, as you can see, it's not particularly small, but it's not as big. It's not nearly as big as some of the others. You can see they're 12 feet tall.
Absolutely.
And it's got a few thorns, but you can rub your hand in here. There's some of these that have thorns on thorns. I mean, it's crazy.
So what's your primary market for Seaberry?
Well, you know what's interesting? Our primary market is the homeowner.
Yeah.
We'd like to see someday a commercial planting. It would be really great I think it's a fruit that has great potential. It makes wonderful juice. It's high in vitamins, very nutritious, does good things for the soil. I think it's a really nice plant and in Germany, there's a big commercial industry there with this plant. But unfortunately here nobody even knows about it, so we're kind of like still in the development stage. For the homeowners like it, and people like to grow it, and when it's in fruit, it's quite attractive. I don't know if we can see any nearby.
Just right here.
You see one with some fruit on it? There's some that have large clusters of fruit. I was going to see if I could see one that wasn't too far away. Here's another. So this is another example of one that we're leaving. You know, it has a few thorns, but it's definitely a lot lower vigor than the ones behind it. For example.
Seems like a lot of work and a lot of patience to establish some preferred home varieties like this.
Yeah, it's a little daunting, you know. Like, you know, but what keeps us it keeps us interested. You know, there's no boredom here.
Absolutely, yeah. Continue learning, continue observing.
Yeah.
These new Prussian types.
Yeah, and you can see before the males were taken out, this was solid, you know, just solid trees, solid plants. So there's gaps now where there's a little more room for the females to grow.
It looks like you're growing here on landscape fabric. We've got drip line on top of the fabric here. And do you fertigate through that too? Or?
Well, we don't need to with these plants because they actually fix nitrogen and sort of make their own fertility in a way. But we could if we wanted to.
Sure.
Yeah, but yes, works really good. The landscape fabric is another just tremendous boon to us because it keeps the weeds from growing, and we probably couldn't even do this if we didn't use that. We'll see in a little bit that our raised beds are covered with thin plastic, which of course is different. It doesn't last nearly as long, and we figured 2 years with that. This we could leave for 10 years if we wanted to. But it's really useful. Here's some fruit on this guy, but there's some that have quite a bit more.
And so with the fabric as the primary weed control, do you guys need to do any spraying in here? Or?
You know, we try not to. These rows haven't been sprayed.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
What we do is we're experimenting with different methods of weed control, and we haven't.
There's some thorns.
Yeah, you can run into them. What we do right now is we'll mow, and then we'll take a hand mower and run it right down along the edge, and the weeds that grow up that the tractor mower can't get, it will get along the edge like that. It's not a perfect solution, and so our newest plan is to take another piece of weed mat like this landscape fabric and run it from here down onto the flat area.
Yep.
So then we can actually there's no shoulder, and we can mow over the top of that weed fabric and get the weeds out.
Yeah, in a single pass with the tractor.
Pass.
Or
yeah. That's the goal. So we shall see how that works. But, yeah, so you can see a lot of yellow tape. Well, there's one over there. There's got quite a bit of fruit on it.
Yes, yeah. Very nice. Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely there's a lot. Actually, we harvested some fruit out of here because there was so much of it. But it has differing, varying quality to it. We can just walk down here. I heard that's the whistle.